Everybody's going Chieftain, but I'm telling you, the Sab is still good, and I want to show you real quick. I made some updates for 3.25. I promise this is not a bait video. You do not league start this. You do not league start this, right? This is like a second character, or we're switching around 90, 95 or whatever. But I want to show you what I did to make this build viable for 3.25. Keep in mind, we don't even know everything that we have access to yet. They haven't given us everything. So this build has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to give it a shot, right? Let's make this great. You should be seeing game footage. I did an ultimatum this morning. I took off Defiance and Destiny. I took off Progenesis, and I ran a T16 Glacier. Obviously deathless ultimatum with the trial master, and I had no issues whatsoever. Those pieces that I took off, they are generally just like extra layers of protection, so you can do even harder ultimatums. But let's not get wrapped up in that. I want to show you the gear changes, the tree changes, and everything else that I did. We're gonna try to do this in one shot. Ready? All right, we're keeping most of the stuff. And before I actually jump in, let me just caveat and say, please go back and watch the full video. The link is below in the description. This is just an update, so that way I can show you that it's playable still, okay? You can dual wield the Consuming Dark, or you can pop in a rare shield. This is what I did, okay? One Consuming Dark, we keep the Elevore, try to get decent rolls on it. The Implicit's not really important, all right? It's just kind of like an added bonus. Same with the Cloak of Flame. I'm just looking for the reduced extra damage from crit strikes on it. Okay, shield and boots. All I did was ROG craft these. I got life, I got some reses, and that is it. This is a pretty straightforward. Reses, life, recovery. That's all we're after. Mage Blood's the same. You can do it with or without the Mage Blood. If you do it without the Mage Blood, make sure all your flasks are gain 3 charges when enemy hits you and use on full. So that way when you're constantly getting hit, your flasks are up, all right? So the Mage Blood is just more of a quality of life thing, and also it's really effective. So get one of those with the cheaper build through a miracle, and then upgrade to mine. The gloves also rare. I'm looking for chaos res. I'm just trying to max out my reses. All right, rings. I'm keeping the same amethyst base, basically reses. The most important thing on this is that it's a shaper base, so you can roll gain life on hit with spells. All right, it's pretty straightforward. This is a really cheap item, and you can just roll it, you know, on your own. It doesn't take much. This is what enables the build, okay? This is the Valerium Moonstone Ring, and this is what's going to allow our stun threshold to be based on our energy shield. I technically don't want any energy shield, but I happen to have some, okay? So we're putting it to use. Flask-wise, let's just run through this. We have Sapphire, we have Topaz, we have Amethyst, and we have Ruby. And of course, this 5th flask spot, this is where I want to put my Progenesis when I save up for one, all right? All of these, you can put whatever you want on them, all right? Wherever you couldn't get immunities, put them on your flask. So for me, I got curses. This one line is important. You have to get this on one of your flasks. Chance to avoid being shocked during effect. That's because of our Storm Shroud. We need this line. The other ones are whatever you want. I put immunity to poison on this flask because I have bleed cannot be inflicted on you on the ring, and then I got corrupted blood on a jewel. So that covers the gear. That's basically all the changes there. Let's go through the gem setup real quick, because this does change. These don't change. These are our 2 curses, and our amulet needs Whispers of Doom, so we can get our 2nd curse, no big deal. Up here, I put it in all purities. So purity of fire, purity of lightning, and purity of ice. You'll notice mine aren't even leveled up. So get yours to 21, and you'll be way tankier. Plus, we're gonna mess with max reses in the new league in 3.25 and see if we can get them all to 90%. If we do, that's amazing. We have Flame Dash because, well, I'm just that kind of guy. All right, shield, I put Desecrate. I've tried flipping this in and out for Unearth, and I think Desecrate is still better. Don't worry about the Spectre nerf, all right? We'll make up for that with a few points on the tree. It really feels just fine. All right, Desecrate, cast when stun, and Spell Cascade support. I've tried Spell Echo, and Spell Cascade just feels better. In your 6th link, you have your Awakened Gems. The only thing I switched out in my 6th link for this was putting Life Tap. That's it. So, you know, you can play with that 6 link if you want, see if there's a gem that maybe feels better. The gloves, life tap again. We have Culling Strike, because who doesn't love killing a monster with 10% lefts, right? Cast Wind Stun, and we have Firestorm of Pelting. In the boots, finally, we have Clarity, because since we have mana, we want our bounce back to be as fast as possible. So we're constantly putting out our spells. All right, so Clarity for that. Vitality is just better life regen. Remember, without Skyforth, we actually have life regen. So take advantage of it. Put a high level of vitality in it, reserve your life with it, and you're good to go. So Arrogance is for that. And then our last one is Petrified Blood. The only thing that I'm a little bummed out about is I don't have enough mana res for Purity of Fire. Even though I'm leveling it up here, my hope is to eventually work it in. But most important is Purity of Lightning and Purity of Ice. So those are your priorities. This is my setup. Here's my Progenesis here for later. Like I said, I just took it out just to show you guys that I could actually do it. Okay, here's the tree. So I have Divine Flesh over here, so that way it doesn't interfere with any of the nodes, because if I had it here over at Acrobatics, it actually changes quite a bit. So to avoid that, we stuck it over here. But if we could get one that doesn't change anything, we can move it here and save all of these points and maybe move them somewhere else. Okay, let's start at the top. I took out this cluster jewel up here. I went EB so we can at least utilize our energy shield a little bit and try to keep it down to 0 so we get stunned all the time. Another thing that I did was I took Undertaker, these 3 nodes, for a little extra damage. It makes sense to me, so I did it. Moving on, everything stays about the same. I did add in the Mana Mastery for the reservation so I can get the second Purity on. We take Mind Drinker because why not? It's extra mana on kill, so it makes sense. We're going after all the life nodes we can. We keep this cluster jewel. I stick my Watcher's Eye in it and a couple other jewels. You can move this stuff around. It's not a huge deal. To get our spell suppress capped, I go ahead and get in some of these nodes, Quick Step and the 2 little ones are in between, along with Intuition. We come down here. You'll notice that I took out this cluster jewel here. I also removed this cluster jewel here. We come across, we still get our life nodes. We max those out. The only thing that changes is I took Hardy over here, and I had these extra points, so I figured I would try it. Now, if you wanted to change these, you could take these 4 points out and then come over here and just grab the recoup nodes. All right, we can add in a quick 24% life recoup, and I think that would feel just as good. Our Pantheon stays the same. There's no changes here, except because I'm recording this in standard, I do have Seabird and It That Fell taken, but don't take those. Just take the Claiborne and then the regular Soul Lunaris. I also take Aberath because I hate Burning Ground. It's easier. Bandits, we are going to help Oak this league, right? So take the 40 extra flat. It makes sense. Other than that, there's really not any other changes. I didn't add any other jewels or change much. I just more took some, swapped some around. The big goal is 3 purities, 3 elemental flasks. We push our reses up to 90. Our chaos res is up to 80 because we have divine flesh. And that way we are resed out. Our cloak of flame is going to convert 40% of our fizz damage taken as fire. So it kind of mitigates that a little bit and it feels fine. So outside of that, these are my updates for this build. We are going to play this. We're going to push it. I may change some things in the league, but at the end of the day, please comment below. Tell me if I could do things better, if maybe you didn't think of something, but this works and this works, or whatever it is. Let's have a conversation about this. Have fun. By the way, I am going to play the Chieftain version as well as this, so I can compare them maybe mid-league and just kind of give you another video on like what I like most. And then the last thing I'm going to leave you with, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Please note, I am not doing content creation as much as I used to. I'm running for Congress right now, and I'm focusing mostly on getting elected and going door knocking and all that stuff. So anyway, I hope you have a great 3.25. If you watch this in the future beyond that, that's awesome too. I hope you're loving PoE like I do, and I will see you in the next video.